And let's welcome to the field, Southern Districts. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to welcome to the field the Nightcliff Tigers. Congratulations to Jono Harris for his 150 Nightcliff Games. Okay, we are going to have our team captains meet in the middle for the coin toss, and we're extremely excited to have Gold Coast Sun star Brandon Ellis here to do the coin toss with the captains for the prelim final. All right, now it does look like Southern Districts have won the coin toss and elected to kick to the airport ends. This is the TIO NTFL men's preliminary final. Good luck to both the Nightcliff Tigers and the Southern District Crocs.
Good afternoon and welcome to TIO Stadium for the Men's Premier League, TIO NTFL. It's the preliminary final with Nightcliff up against Southern Districts. To see it all unfold this evening, to my right, well, a man that's been to the big dance 9 times here in the territory, Ricky Nolan and Rob Cross. Gentlemen, good evening to you both. Last week, well, surprising that the Tigers are here in many ways. Of course, with St Mary's beating the Tigers last week, going through to the grand final, up against the Crocs, who have gone up a notch in the last couple of weeks, but I think they're going to have to give everything and more if they're going to beat the Tigers today, Ricky.
Yeah, just a bit of a speed wobble, I think, last week for Nightcliff. They've easily been the best side in the comp, but the Crocs certainly come good at the right time of the year, won the last 5 games. I think on paper, you look at their 22, and they're very capable of winning this game, but I think Nightcliff, you don't go through the season as dominant as what they have, and I think certainly go into this side that they still should have a lot of confidence, and probably should be the favourites as well.
Rob, thoughts on the game ahead this evening?
4 changes for Nightcliff. Out goes Bricknell, Arnold, Miles, the big ruckman, and Sharp, who was suspended. They brought a bit of pace in. I know we'll talk about this through the game. I know Ricky Nolan doesn't think a lot about pace, but Ryan New, Liam Holt Fitz, Nathan Brown come in. Liam Evans is pretty much the straight swap for Sharp up in the forward line. 1 change only for Southern Districts is interesting, because I know a lot of us have been very impressed with young Jaden Watts. He's been dropped for team balance, but a big in for them. Dylan Barry kicked 3 goals a couple of weeks ago and missed last week. So a hard body comes in to match the hard bodies of Nightcliff.
Interesting, Nightcliff, they've started with their 3 Nichols medalists in the middle, so they haven't mucked around with anything. Looks like, I reckon it's Rory, no, Dean Staunton has gone to Brody Follow by the looks of it, and a hard tag. We're talking before whether it be Dean Staunton or Horbury. Looks like Dean Staunton's got the tag on Brody Follow.
Umpire Joel Morrison gets us underway in the preliminary final for season 19-20. Could be scrappy. We've had some rain for about 40 minutes or so leading into the match. Looks like it will clear. We may get a bit more a little later. But it's the first kick of the night, and a free kick to O'Brien finds Brody Lake, who was terrific last week. He's had a good season. Across half back for the Crocs. He kicks to half forward. Michael Barlow, but dropping in front. The player that Nightcliff missed last week, the Rainy Cheney medalist in Liam Holt Fitz. Beautiful on the left foot. He's normally a right footer, but speared it down the throat of Winter Irving, who marks on wing. Front of the Morris Rioli grandstand. Kicks in the John Butcher direction. Tom Holman slaps it away and then bumps chest with Phil Wills. Holman and Butcher will be a good duel. Johnny Butcher kicked about 1 goal 5 last week, and when he could have kicked accurately in the 3rd quarter, it might have been the difference against St Mary's. He couldn't find the big gap, Ricky Nolan.
No, he kicked very poorly, and when they needed momentum is when he missed them.
Patrick Gallo, big opportunity tonight. They've dropped the much taller Jonathan Miles. Nightcliff. Drogamula went up against him. Out to the wing. Dylan Barry back in. Hard tackle on Islet. High, but made him earn it.
Good intent, though. I wouldn't be too upset with that if I was Shannon Rusker.
Islet bounces up as he always does, and that's a high hit from Brain. He doesn't mind dishing it out either. Hit the tough fireman, Dean Staunton. Staunton sends it out to the outer side. One-on-one contest out there. Moo, sock off the ground. Sean Wilson, seen at Nightcliff Shopping Centre this afternoon. Got it off to a teammate there. Kick up towards right half forward. Charlie McKenna was brilliant across half back last week. As Evans comes out on a long lead and sees it out of bounds.
He's looking for toilet paper, I heard. So it'd be interesting to see if he...
Few and far between at the moment.
Some there, the recycled paper was there. But I'm not sure why people don't go the recycled paper. Right half forward, 80 metres around from the Nightcliff goal.
Saw Andrew Hodges stealing toilet paper out of the Morara Football Club toilets earlier on today.
Gallo, Drogamula inside attacking 50 for Nightcliff. Socket off the ground there by Schofield. McAdam quickly onto the left boot. Kicks out towards the wing. Front spot Horbury, who was excellent last week. They pile in on top of him, and there'll be a ball up. Umpire Mark Noonan. The big guns are in the green tonight. Mark Noonan, along with Joel Morrison and Jamison Galbraith, are the three men in green officiating this preliminary final. Josiah Farah. Kick squeezed out by Nightcliff. Moo in front spot. The fend from Schofield. Ogden. Moo still in the contest. Must set it up for a teammate. Keegan Dingo hacks it out in the Horbury direction, but it's out of bounds on the full.
A couple of things I enjoy looking at as matchups. Nathan Brown gone to Jeff Garlett, who was very, very dangerous last week, and Bowles has gone to Ed Barlow, who was best on ground by a country mile for Southern Districts last week. So two really good matchups there.
So Cammy Islet, superstar player for Nightcliff, kicks it into the forward pocket. Winter Irving to tap it down to a teammate. Free kick's been picked out, and Bowden.
Fair grab in these conditions, huh?
McAdam, Schofield trots off half back, kicks to the wing. Brain running back courageously. Brain still in and hard. Lake comes up with a footy, shrugs the tackle, steps inside. Off to Garlett, the former Demon and Blue. Clever kick into the path of Ed Barlow. Taps it to his own advantage. Farah had to bump on Brain. Barlow goes to ground. Charging out there was O'Brien. Josiah Farah. Staunton, in fact, it was. Off the ground goes Philo to Wills. Wills a little bit of time. Kicks it hurriedly into the middle. On the bounce, Moo through his legs. Still Moo. McAdam lays the tackle. Comes up there to his teammate in Hagan. Off to O'Brien for the Crocs, though. Michael Barlow steps back inside, shrugs the tackle. Awkward tumbling kick, but straight into the lap of his teammate Garlett. And the first shot on goal might test him in wet conditions. Not known as a long kick. He might want to dish off here. Michael Barlow cruising by. Garlett goes back to fix the boot.
You reckon for Districts to win, this guy's got to have a better than average game of footy, I reckon.
Jeff Garlett still looking around. There's no one coming. He's got Ed Barlow with 2 to beat in the square. It's surprising that no one else has gone back to help him out. He's made pretty good contact, Garlett. Carries pretty much all the way. Second grab, Barlow's going to be paid. Well, that's horrible defending by Nightcliff. But it did go through.
Where would Districts crummers if that ball had to come forward?
So just over the line for a behind. It's the first score of the night. Crocs lead. Comes out to Bowles. Tremendous link player across half back. Kicks to Wills. The 2 number 11s collide. Oh, that was a throw almost, surely. Not picked up. Bowles comes up with it on the left boot. Kicks to the wing. 2-on-2 contest. Innes had it punched away by Brown. Brown goes again. Cleverly to Holt Fitz. Gets crunched by Dingo. Then on top of him is Innes. They pile in on top. The ball finally squeezed out. Lake goes in hard. Up against Melville. Still Brodie Lake. Hard at the football. He's got Moo for company and sees it out of bounds. That's a good bit of play by Brodie Lake.
Lionel Ogden for Southern Districts has got Holt Fitz, who I reckon is Nightcliff's most important player. I'm glad they didn't go with Brodie Lake. I don't reckon you give kids that big of a job, so I like that matchup as well.
Drogamula wins the tap. McAdam had it slapped down by Philo, off the ground by Holt Fitz, inside attacking 50. Holman gets to it first. Quick from Aubrey was good onto the chest of Ogden, and he's away. Has a bounce in the wet conditions, was brave. Got a good shepherd And then long kick towards half forward. Will Farrer in front. Went one-handed in the end. Had it spoiled away by Paris. Farrer clever, looking for a teammate. Paddles in the McLaughlin direction. Wonderfully scooped up by Tambling in the wet. Horbury steps inside. Kicks it up towards attacking 50. Laker slipped down from half back. Got heavily met in the air by Bowles. Fairly, said the umpire. Play on the call. Comes to Clark. He gets hammered by Brain. Tough footy. Comes to Bowles and he kicks it back into the middle of TIO Stadium. But Josiah Farrer marks for the Crocs.
Got a wall of numbers behind the footy here. Nightcliff just got to use the usable and control by foot.
Warung received from Will Farrer. Up towards full forward. Barlow pushing and shoving there with Kickett. Kickett taken down and a strong tackle by Barlow. Lake playing for the free kick for a hold. Ed Barlow comes out to meet it. Jaden Clark for the Crocs. Kicks it towards 30 metres from goal. Garlett tries to get rid of his man there in Brown. Brown still going. Wonderful pick up by Barlow. He can't quite get the hook on the kick. Goes towards the left forward pocket. Scoots across the ground. The hard chase from Garlett. But the Nightcliff defence does well to work it out towards the wing. Coming the other way, though, was Michael Bowden. To McAdam, will have to release quickly. Does to Warung. Warung about to be claimed in a strong tackle. The ball slipped out to Philo. Philo kicks it towards half forward. Melville all alone. 2-on-2 battle up towards the square. Islet's there from behind. Butcher drops the chest mark. He gets it, though. Bang to the left boot. Kicks it out of the space in front of Islet. He's about 20 metres in the clear. He gathers. He's got time to set sail on goal. Shoots and misses to the left.
It's the post.
A point each. Frenetic start to this game. 7.5 minutes gone in the preliminary final. The Crocs are away quickly. Through Josiah Farrer. He marks inside the centre square. He kicks to the wing.
It's not about standard of game. That ball would be extremely slippery.
Yeah, Barlow a long way out from the goal square where he started. Look for Michael Barlow. Two former AFL players trying to combine. They've got it 60 from goal at left half forward. Lightning in the background.
Yeah, we had a light sprinkle just before the game started at 34 degrees temperature. The ball would be like a piece of soap, so very impressed with the skill level of the players.
Drogamulla of Nightcliff, Innes of the Crocs. Off the side of the boot there from Philo. Danny Butcher, Bowles, taps it along in front. Coming the other way strongly was Schofield. Threw it on his boot quickly. Zach Brain leads in the race for the ball. Charges onto it from half back. Dashes to the wing, kicks to half forward on the bounce to Cam Islet. He's got Dingo for company. The little shove. Islet was clever. Loops the handball over to the hard-running Brain who'd made space. Got the handball back to Islet. Copped a big bump from Dingo. Play on the call. Islet kicks in towards full forward. Spoiled away. Goes out a mark to Holt Fitz. Not quite. He got hands to it. Couldn't bring it down. Strong tackle on Butcher. 1-2. Mitts around him. Comes to Evans. Who's he got? Gets it off now. Moves there. So's Butcher. He tried to shrug the tackle. Was it holding the ball? Mid-air attempt there from Holt Fitz, but it's a free kick to the Crocs. Wonderful tackling in defence by Southern Districts.
The intensity is high early. A spot on the grand final is on the line here. The other team is out and they are done for the year.
And a brief respite for the players as Ogden has to jump the fence at the Michael Long centre end to retrieve the footy. They'll be exhausted at quarter time, Rick.
Yeah, Horbury on screen there's had a good start to the game, I reckon. A couple of good early touches after a very good game last week.
Just what we expected, a couple of big-bodied sides. So that's brave by Ogden. Has a bounce through full-back. Gives it to Holman. Kicks long to centre half forward. Here comes Will Farrer. Ran under the footy. Jaden Clark has the ball swept away from him. On neat sidestep there through half-back. And now Nightcliff can set up through Paris. Runs to the wing. Kicks long in towards the forward pocket. Islet there worked his way to the front up against Dingo. Good match-up. Melville will get to the footy first. Can he keep it inside the field of play? Bowden comes at him. Sweeps the handball into the goal square. But Holman is there for the Southern District Crocs. His kick is chopped down though. But numbers favour the Crocs. O'Brien loops a handball over the top and they're away through Schofield. He thought about touching the ball to ground. Goes to the wing where Michael Barlow camped himself there last week to set up so many plays for the Crocs. Sends it back inboard to Josiah Farrer. Farrer kicks long up towards half forward, towards the pocket. Garlett got rid of his man wonderfully in Nathan Brown. He's a bit too far out to score. 55 out, kicks to the top of the goal square. Dropping back is Clark. Will Farrer there as well. Could be a crumb to Barry. Kicked 3 goals 2 weeks ago. Bumped off the footy. Ed Barlow kicked 7 last week. Comes up with the ball. Handball's out to Garlett. Sidesteps. Here's a chance for Schofield. He gets the handball back to Ed Barlow. Is he taken high? Shrug the tackle. Gives to Michael Barlow. Still a chance here. Inner set sail for goal on the left. He's got it! First goal of the night to Southern Districts. They lead 7-1.
Outstanding in tight handballing there by Districts. Just hit the target, give very, very quickly. It's like a training drill, basically a 4v3 training drill there. I think they did it very well, and that was an unbelievable goal by Innes. But you just see here.
Hopefully we can catch it on the replay. The don't argue from Ed Barlow.
Yeah, they just hit fumble there, but then from here they just hit targets. Smooth the ball
this
quickly.
spot here, right there.
Nathan Brown, well done.
Borderline high, wasn't it? But Innes, he's doing a great job. He's the backup ruckman. He got pushed over, bounced back into the contest and slotted the goal.
Southern Districts Junior has come through and he said, spoken about it all year, not a lot of ruckmen in the NTFL. He's one of those backup ruck rovers. He's up against Winner Irving, who I would say is not a ruckman as well.
Innes won the tap, tried to tap it behind him. Josiah Farah, quietish last week, socket off the ground.
He started well, I reckon.
Michael Barlow started well. O'Brien, centre half forward. Staunton has to sit and wait. Hagan goes back with him. Out comes Bowles. Out of the trusty left boot. Ogden and Holt Fitz. Ogden tapped it to his own advantage. Oh, couldn't quite get to the run of the footy. Still fighting hard Lionel Ogden. Barry came up with it. He was stripped of the footy by Winter Irving. Ogden laid a tackle. Back to Cheetahs. He's corralled. Threw it on the left boot and high kick towards half forward. The spoil came from Horbury only as far as Holt Fitz. Spiral kick up towards Melville towards centre half forward. Melville gets the tap. Clever to move. Oh, back towards Melville. Quick snap. In fact, it's Butcher. Butcher on the bounce towards the goal square. Eilert comes at it at the top of the square. He clever tapped it to his own advantage. He's sitting over the footy now. Is the umpire going to call holding the ball? No, he's going to come in and ball it up. 10 metres out from the Nightcliff goal.
They've done very well there, Districts, I reckon, because usually Cameron in that situation is as strong as a bull, although three blokes were onto him within a second. But
clever my God. Butcher out of the ruck contest has kicked a wonderful goal. Soccer style, held off his opponent in the ruck, threw the right boot at it from 15 metres. And there's the leveller, 1-1 apiece. 12 minutes gone, first quarter.
Christian Ronaldo would be happy with that one. Yeah, just a goal out of absolute nowhere. Just watch this. Wow.
Amazing.
Something you'd expect Holt Fitz to do, not big Johnny Butcher.
I'm not surprised that Nightcliff have got a goal. That was the way they got the goal, though. Southern Districts have been relentless in their pressure, and you pointed out before, Ricky, that they're doing really well around Cam Eilert as well, and just slowing him down, stopping him, and just something out of nothing was the way that Nightcliff were able to get that first goal.
Gallo back into the ruck up against Winter Irving. Gallo won the tap. Wills went hard at it. Winter Irving grabs the crumb. Cheetahs quick out to Wilson. Had a little fumble, then gathers. Kicks it out towards right half forward. Leading in the race there is Schofield of Southern Districts. His high kick, just trying to get some territory. Warung is there, so is Lake. Knocked it away from Hagan. Watch out. Horbury was very good getting it back to Warung, back to Gallo. Kicks up towards centre half forward. Ed Barlow one-on-one. Ed Barlow coming back with a fly to the footy was Brain. Opportunity here. Sweeping ball to Michael Barlow, back to Ed Barlow, back to Barry. Barry, can he step around? Gets his left boot to the footy. Garlett one-on-one with Brown. Garlett pushes away from Brown, and he hammers one through from the square. Oh, brilliant goal by Jeff Garlett, his first of the night. And it's back to a one-goal margin to the Crocs.
The AFL footballers of Barlow and Garlett outstanding. Michael Barlow, just his positioning in that last one, he just read where the ball was going to go, was able to get it to Ed Barlow. He just got the ball to Garlett in a one-on-one, but just touch earlier than that. Yeah, here he just positioned really, really well.
Sounds like an old English law firm, Barlow and Garlett.
Yeah. The more they can get Garlett in a one-on-one, it's something I'd really, really work on.
He's beaten Brown 2 or 3 times already.
Yeah.
Started the season slowly, Garlett. Wasn't getting any touches, and when he did get a touch, his disposal was off. But every week he's just got better and better, used to the conditions. He's looking fit. Gallo off the ground goes Phil Wills, the former Buffalo. McAdam. Ogden Brave at the bottom of the pack. Back to Cheetahs. Looking for Butcher. Melville clever, slaps it into the path with a big man, Butcher. Has he got another snap on him? I think he has. Oh, forget the set shots, Big John. Just go the snaps. You're 7 foot tall, but he's playing like a small forward. The ilk of Liam Holt Fitz, and he's got his second. The margin, well, there's no margin. It's 2-1 apiece again.
Just won the ball out of the middle, Nightcliff, the last 2 centre breaks. So it's just so imperative in finals footy. So just getting it forward. That's what you want to do. He's a big boy, Butcher, and he's nice and strong. It'll be a good battle. Holman's is a very, very good player as well from the Kyabram Football Club in the Goulburn Valley. Will be a super battle Butcher's playing for Central Districts in the SRNFL.
Drogamula jumped into Gallo, nullified each other. Tambling's been quiet. She started the previous two finals very well and been a kickstarter for the Crocs.
I was worried about Tambling all week. I just, God, he was sore at the end of that game last week. He could hardly walk.
Exactly. I did wonder whether that might...
I thought if you had the word P, if you're thinking premierships, whether you rest him for a week to have him fit next week.
Sean Wilson, lovely long bomb. It might have been a push on Melville. He went early. Ogden there, the bigger body in front of him, just worried him. And he pushed Melville out of the way. It's a pretty good kick, Melville. He'll kick from 50. Tight angle, 45 degrees. Out at right half forward.
Remember a few years ago, Wanderers did it very well. They rested Daniel Motlop for a preliminary final, and everyone was wondering why. But he was just that sore, and then he was fresh and played a tremendous game in the grand final. So sometimes it's a gamble, but it can work.
From 51 metres, Melville for his 44th goal of the year is away to the right, and in fact out of bounds on the full. Rain coming down again.
Conditions have been good so far. You pointed out, Ricky, before, apart from the rain.
Yeah, for viewers down home, these are really, really bad conditions.
Yeah.
The ball's just, it's not heavy, it's just slippery.
Schofield's long kick. Ogden can't get there. It goes out of bounds at left half back on the outer side.
In front of the Shannon Motlop, talking to Motlops, the Shannon Motlop grandstand there.
Played 3 times this year, these sides. It's been 3 wins to Nightcliff. 9 points in round 1, but in subsequent matches, 38 points and then 57 the last time they met. So the reigning premiers Nightcliff had very much the wood on the Crocs, but the Crocs have won their last 5 games coming to this one. They're on a roll. Clark's kick up towards half forward. Farah bowls, worked his way to the front, got the kick away, back into the middle. Brain waited under it. Staunton with a spoil. Cheetahs back to Brain was good. Brain's kick around the corner towards centre half forward. Gallo takes the mark. Stood next to him in Cantilla's bar after the game last week. His head nearly hit the ceiling. He must be about 6'9", I reckon. Schofield close to the boundary line. He'd be happy to see it out. It just trickles out of the way. Moo did pretty well to provide a contest.
I just like how Shannon Rusker stuck with a big guy. Like, you don't get guys like this if he's living in Darwin. You don't get guys like that. So he's just developed so much over the year, and he stuck with him. He could have gone with Seb Gillhouse or flown someone else up. Of course, Seb's madly in love on Married at First Sight at the moment, so he's probably unavailable. But he's just stuck with him, and I reckon that's really good coaching.
Josiah Farah was tough at the contest then, only as far as Cheetahs so, sends it back up towards half forward. Little jumper pull there by Bowden, not seen by the umpire. Filer goes through, gives to Danny Butcher. Josiah Farah working overtime. Rurung comes up with a footy and kicks towards half forward, but only as far as kick it, I should say.
Oh,
Kickett's kick. It was
worked.
brave, it did work.
And if it works, no, that's good. It's the best kick in footy, in my opinion. If you can get it into that 45 kick there, it's just got to work.
Roger Morris, Drogamula's broken to the outer side. O'Brien's quicker and closes on him. Drogamula just gets a kick away. Wilson, he was slick, got it off to his teammate going past there in Melville. Good tackle on him. Oh, now the rain is starting to play havoc with the skills. McAdam spilt the footy. Ogden was clean and gave to Urung to the wing. Ed Barlow over the top to O'Brien. Gets it and goes. And kicks long up towards left half forward. Standing in the way there is Kickett. From behind, Michael Barlow did brilliantly and then lost it. There's 4 Tigers around him. They're getting to the contest better. Paris kicks to the wing. Drogamula there. Innes for the Crocs, who tried to come in and lay a shepherd for a teammate. Someone was taken high. It's going to be a free kick, says umpire Morrison.
If there's an area I reckon districts could improve on, I reckon they've been terrific so far. Just when the ball gets kicked in the air to a contest, they just don't have crummers there at the moment. If they could just work a bit harder to get numbers at the fall of the ball, I reckon Nightcliff are doing that
Wonderful
touch better at the moment.
By Jaden Clark to Schofield. It's 2-1-13 apiece. 20 minutes gone first quarter.
Jeez, they've done that well.
Nice delivery to Bowden, who's drifted up to half forward. He wants a player to come at him. Dropping the ball. Brilliant tackle.
They're on here,
by Holtfitz. Wilson gives to Winter Irving. Over the top to Hagan. Over the top to Melville. It's one over the top if he wants it. Melville taps the ball to the ground. Can go back to Butcher. Can't draw Holman, but kicks the goal himself and then gets decked for his trouble late by Holman. Not a lot in it. Melville still on the ground. That's very well played by Nightcliff, and they lead by a goal.
Holt Fitz, I reckon, is the most important player for Nightcliff, outstanding there. I reckon Ogden's been really, really good early, though, on him. But another time there's Charlie McAdam. I think he left Melville. If you leave your man, you've just got to impact it. I'll show you here, but outstanding by Holt Fitz. You just see here, he leaves his man there. Charlie's just got to impact that contest if you're going to do it. green light or red light. There's no orange lights. You either got to go and impact, or you just got to stay with your man.
Who's your favourite for this game, Rick?
I reckon comfortably Nightcliff. You can't be the best side in the comp and go out straight sets. They're not. They're an unbelievable side. You can't dominate that well. So I would comfortably say Nightcliff will win this game of football. Even though you look at Croc's 22 players and they're all good, but they've just been so dominant all season.
So back underway again in the slip very early. Up against Drogamulla. Clever handball over the top to Drogamulla. Sends them forward once more. Winter Irving with a big body pushing and shoving. Out comes Butcher with an even bigger body. Gives to Holt Fitz. Back to Butcher who's on the ground. Comes up with the footy. Holman reefs him to the turf. Ogden Clever gave to Dingo from the back pocket. Kicks up towards the wing. Will it carry it? Won't. Drogamulla stood in the way. Can go in towards centre half forward. Wilson on the lead. Marks on his chest. He's 55 from goal. Wastes no time, kicks up towards the top of the goal square, running back with the flight. The big spoil came over the top of Evans from Schofield. It goes out of bounds in the right forward pocket. Rain teeming down here at TIO Stadium.
Interesting. Drogamulla started serviceably. I reckon it would have, out of him and Miles, both of them would have been extremely under the pump, and it would have been a flip of the coin. And it's interesting when you put some pressure on people, how they get an extra step and they improve.
Melville in ruck. Ogden, O'Brien was slick in wet conditions. The handball doesn't find its target in Michael Barlow and it goes out of bounds. Full credit to the kick cameraman down there, Rick and Matty. We're up in the air-conditioned box in the comfort, the dry conditions, slogging it out down there.
In the rain.
The goal of difference. Nightcliff have steadied. They've been pressured. It's been a wonderful first quarter. 3-1 plays 2-1. Innes up against Drogamulla, who's getting better as the quarter goes on. Oh, Cheetahs was met very powerfully by Ogden. Two ferocious footballers. Josiah Farah left it for his teammate. Staunton comes up with it. He kicks up towards half forward. He wants Will Farah. He might have him. It went to the back of the pack and Farah had the advantage. He can control the footy. Just was able to knock it back into his own path. Barry's sweating on it to come out towards him. Kane Riley goes in hard for Nightcliff. 2-on-2 battle. It's at the bottom of the deck. Will Farah again trying hard to farm it out to a teammate. Eilert comes up with it though for Nightcliff and kicks to Hagan, drops the chest mark and then wheels around and beats two. Gets the handball out wide. Cheetahs delays the handball, gives it back to Hagan. Clever football, kicks up towards half forward, running back to the flight. There's Bowden and he marks on his chest courageously. Butcher was coming out, but Bowden stood his ground and marked and then transfers play to the Morris Rioli grandstand side. Lake up against Bowles. Schofield socket off the ground. Nightcliff still an opportunity. Bumped off the footy. Was Evans, was good by Schofield. Comes to Horbury. Horbury kicks up towards centre half forward. Waiting under it. Barry goes up in front. Ran under the footy. Kane Riley comes up with it for Nightcliff.
Struggling at ground level, Districts. They've got to get someone down at ground level up forward.
Josiah Farah dropped the chest mark, but conditions are tough. He's got the pace to get away from Holt Fitz. No, broken out wide. Once again, it's the Michael Barlow wing. He was all out there all last week as well. Staunton was crunched late. Play on the call. It was legal, said the umpire. Hagan's quick kick to Holt Fitz. Clean as ever. Hooking the kick around. Finds his teammate. And Shane Evans has it. 80 from goal. Kicks in towards the pocket, wanting John Butcher. Holman worked his way to the front, scoots off the wet turf and goes out of bounds right on quarter time. Thrilling preliminary final, just what we expected. It's the Tigers by a goal. 3-1, the Crocs 2-1.
Brandon, welcome to Darwin. Tell us a little bit what you're doing here this weekend.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us, obviously, watching the game at the moment with Southern Districts and Nightcliff. Thoughts on the game so far?
Yeah, it really.
This year, with the move across. How are you feeling for the year ahead?
Yeah, really excited. I know that we've only played 2 practice games, but it's just some promising signs. We've got such a young group and an exciting group, and if we can just get these boys to start believing and instill some confidence in them, then God knows what can happen. So I think we're in for an exciting year, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
One of the guys that you'll be on the field with is Territorian Mally Roses. Tell us a little bit about him.
He's a cheeky boy, Mally. Very good player. He's very fast. He's fit. He's strong for his size. He's very skillful as well. So hopefully we can see him put on the Suns Guernsey this year, and hopefully I can play beside him.
Fantastic, Brandon Ellis. Thanks for joining us in Darwin this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, man.
Oh, good.
Cheers. Welcome back to TIO Stadium, where it's quarter time. Nightcliff 3-1-19, leading Southern Districts 2-1-13 with play underway in the second quarter. Rob Cross.
Gallo loops over Drogomuller. Josiah Farrell's clever, tapped it to his own advantage. High kick up towards the top of the goal square. Barlow comes out, doesn't quite get to that contest. Barry Garlett now sweeps it back to Horbury, squeezes one to Ed Barlow. He's tucked away in the left forward pocket and kicks it out of bounds on the full.
Probably should have gone to the top of the square then, Ed Barlow. It would be a miracle to kick a goal from there.
Bit of lightning around. Matty, what are the rules around inclement conditions?
Yeah, obviously, if there is lightning on the ground, it'll be up to the match manager to bring the players off the field. Obviously, player welfare has got to come first, and then it'll be watched for, I think, up to a period of about 10 minutes or so, and then monitored. Obviously, play can continue. If it's after 30 minutes, then I think the game would be cancelled.
McAdam inside attacking 50. Barry was lurking. Good kick there, was good by Butterick. And it goes towards the boundary line and out of bounds.
I think from memory it's got to be after half-time to have a result in a game by memory, and I reckon it can stop for up to 20 minutes, I believe.
So left half forward for Southern Districts. Opening minute and a half of the second quarter. They've started well. Drugamula leaps over the top of Gallo. Josiah Farah couldn't control it. Wilson was the last one to see it out of bounds for Nightcliff.
Yeah, certainly just providing clarification on that. I was fumbling my way through my game day notes. Lightning is up to the umpire or match manager. If it's deemed to be within 10 kilometres, the game can then be stopped for up to half an hour.
Nightcliff lead by a goal. Drugamula gets rid of Gallo, then Soccer's off the ground. Well trapped by Michael Barlow. Bowden. Barlow's and Bowden's mixed up there to Wills. High kick inside attacking 50. Well worked to the front. Holt Fitz is always dangerous in these circumstances, and Soccer's a goal from 30 metres out from right half forward. What a wonderful player. The reigning Cheney medalist. He's added a spark already in the quarter and a bit of this preliminary final, and some more magic from the star from Tennant Creek.
Well, to sum up this game so far, it's just Nightcliff have just taken their opportunities, and opportunities from nothing. Butcher out of the ruck, and this one is just a goal from nothing. But they just need to. No one's on him there. Like, he's the most dangerous player for the Nightcliff Footy Club. They just got to bumper bar him. They've got to be with him. They can't take away his push him away from that dangerous space. They're just taking their opportunities, Nightcliff, at the moment. I don't reckon Districts are playing poor. I just reckon Nightcliff are taking their opportunities.
Gallo wins the tap. Oh, high hit there by Brain, and Tamley comes in to remonstrate. Michael Barlow's okay.
Even Barlow had 10 possessions in the first quarter. He just had it on a string.
Sends them forward. Ed Barlow pushes away from his opponent. Brilliantly dishes off there. Quick handball to Barry, and Dylan Barry kicks his first goal of the night, and they get back to within 6 points. But that's an Ed Barlow goal. Held off his man, slick handball, and Dylan Barry, who had a quiet first quarter after 3 goals in a final a couple of weeks ago, has banged through his first of the night.
Really, really good reply. As I said, I reckon Crocs are meeting. They're playing good footy. They're just not taking as many opportunities as what those opportunities from nothing that what Nightcliff have done.
No doubt the Crocs have they've definitely stepped up a notch within the last 2 or 3 weeks. I think they've really found their form in the finals. But as we mentioned at the start of the game, they're going to have to do all that and more.
It's been an infringement.
I reckon it's the water runner.
Yep.
Water runner for Southern Districts went into the square.
Free kick to Drugamula. Eilert.
Not a fan. He can play on, so don't mind that. Not a big fan of a sideward kick from a centre bounce.
Holman and Butcher. Butcher taps. Moves quick. Diving to the back of Ogden. Lake. Good poise.
Big
Gallo.
fellow. Well done.
Fancy stepping.
He's my favourite player now.
Tambling. Bumps off Philo. Eilert was clever. Just waited and didn't infringe in the tackle. Clark hit heavily. Strong tackle on Horbury. They're lifted Nightcliff. Came to O'Brien. They're up for the fight, the Crocs. Barry on hands and knees. Taken to ground in a strong tackle by Morris. Hagan. Ed Barlow long out from full forward back to Jaden Clark. He's taken down in a strong tackle to Horbury. Squeezes the handball along the ground to Lake. Tried to ride the tackle. Holding the footy. It's brutal out there at the moment, and Ryan Moo comes up with a footy for Nightcliff. He kicks inside, not quite to the edge of 50, and Eilert marks in front of Clark. Can they weather this storm? Southern Districts. Dingo. Taken by Evans to Melville, centering ball. A little bit too long. O'Brien waited for it. Slick handball back to Bowden, back to O'Brien. They're still inside defensive 50. He was quick to Ed Barlow. He's got about 5 metres of space to Bowden. Bowden to half forward. The big spoil came from Drugamula, who's been very good so far tonight. Ed Barlow is good, though, standing in the way, gave to Ogden. Bowden just delayed the handball cleverly. Bowden now to Horbury, to Ed Barlow. He's 80 from goal. Kicks it in towards the pocket. Farah played for the free kick, and he's got it. A hold, said the umpire. Going against Paris and Will Farah, the Crocs captain, from a set shot. We've seen him be a little bit ropey in the last few weeks. shots from this distance, but it'd be a great goal if he could get it. Scores would be level.
He just had the overlap there. Rory O'Brien just gut run. He didn't get the footy, but it just created, someone had to go with him, opened up some space on the wing, and they were away. Will hasn't been kicking real well lately. Need a captain's goal.
51 for the year so far. Off one step.
Beautiful.
Will Farah's banged it home. Scores a level, 4-1, 25 apiece. Farah has 52 for the year.
Game on. Very, very good game of footy so far in these conditions. I reckon good skills, a lot of desperation. I like to be about. I don't think last year's grand final was the greatest spectacle, and but this game here, I mean, really, really enjoying it.
6.5 minutes gone, second quarter.
You see Cameron Islet getting a bit of the footy early in this game. It's probably had a little bit of a quiet month with Phillip Wills, but started pretty well today.
He's drifting down back into the forward line. Bowden for company. But Joel Morrison about to get us back underway.
Just trying to look where Brody Follow has been pretty heavily tagged. He's sitting on the bench at the moment.
Innes slept into Drogamula. Ed Barlow's been moved into the middle. Sends it in Garlett's direction. Brown, Horbury. Good defence by the Tigers. Now towards the wing. One-on-one battle. Pushed away from it though. Clark's done well. Sent it back inside 50. On the bounce, Kane Riley for the Tigers. Handball to Wills. Cuts back through traffic. Gave to Perez. Handball missed a target. Barry's lurking. Barry's still there. Slipping there. Desperately trying to paddle off the ground. It was Bowles. Comes to Horbury. And Horbury makes the pay. The Crocs are in front. Crocs by a goal. 8 minutes gone, second quarter. Enormous pressure by Southern Districts. And Horbury came up with the 6 points.
Great goal, and you hit it on the head. It's just pressure, but just interesting. Brody Follow has been heavily tagged the last couple of weeks. St Mary's tagged him pretty heavily, and District's doing it now. We're at the 7-minute mark into the second quarter, and he's on the bench, so that wouldn't usually happen, you wouldn't think. A player that doesn't rotate very often.
Nightcliff led by a goal at quarter time. 3-1 the Crocs' way in this quarter. Just had the sense the first 5 minutes, Nightcliff threw everything at Southern Districts. They've weathered it and kicked the last couple. Josiah Farah. Wills. Kick goes backwards. And they go forward again. Warung. Ed Barlow. Clever tap into the path of Brain though for Nightcliff. Up towards half forward. Ogden stands his ground. Evans came from behind. Islet hard and tough. Dived underneath. Advantage has been paid. Moose set shot on goal and it carries all the way. No, but it touched on the line.
And a goal.
Umpire says no, 6 points. Good goal, Ryan Moo. After Islet was tunnelled by Ogden. The free kick was advantage. And Moo got the quick reply, 5-1 apiece. Ripping preliminary final.
Yeah, good goal umpiring as well. Didn't want to listen to Mark Noonan. She was sure of a decision and made it really well done by the goal umpire. You're not wrong. This is a great game of football. Really, really. In these conditions, it's you probably can't see it on camera, but it's sprinkling rain. It's hot. It's slippery, and the standard of football is very, very high.
A couple of those smaller forwards have been the goal kickers this quarter for Nightcliff. Liam Holt, Fitz and Moo getting to good positions.
I don't mind Ogden's going. I know Holt Fitz has been great, but I still reckon Ogden's been more than serviceable. Best game for 2 years, I reckon.
Innes leapt high up against Winter Irving. Winter Irving held his feet though. There's a free kick over the shoulder. He was playing in front and he deserved the free. Tossed back by Josiah Farah. Winter Irving now sends Nightcliff forward once again. In the end, Evans went up all by himself. Holman and Butcher. Moo once more slips it back to Islet, sweeps it out, hit a Brain from 40 metres. Zach Brain slipped as he went to kick. Holt Fitz works his way to the front. Pushed off the footy by Holman. He wants the boundary line. Schofield will get there first. Quickly onto the right boot. To the wing. Wills is playing a good game of footy. The former Buffalo. Sends Nightcliff back towards the top of the goal square. In front is Dingo. Went the double fist rather than the mark. And McAdam comes up with it. He's taken down in a big tackle by Holt Fitz. Islet lays a strong tackle. Lake dives in. Or it might have been McLaughlin for Southern Districts. There'll be a ball up. Mark Noonan comes in. Pushed late. Will that be a free kick? Noonan says no. Come.
He's got to stick with that the whole game then. You know, silly, no little silly free kicks in front of goal then. If he's not going to pay that, which I agree with what he did, but don't pay something stupid later.
Play on the call again. Schofield. Brain, courageous as ever, takes a wonderful mark. Players coming at him from every direction. He was wrestling with Clark. Another 2 players came over the top, but Brain stood his ground and took it. 60 out. High kick. Melville trying to get into position. Butcher there as well. Melville over the top, got hands to it. Couldn't take the mark. Holt Fitz, quick snap. Wilson does a quick soccer off the ground only as far as Ogden. A chance though for Riley, stood in the way. Ed Barlow soccers off the ground. He's got Michael Barlow for company. Ed Barlow, clean pick up, clean hands to Michael Barlow. The former AFL players combining the long ball out towards the wing, towards right half forward. But it goes out of bounds. And on the full,
probably not a bad result, because their district's defenders under the pump for the last 2 minutes. They can have a breather and get their starting points right and reload.
Kyle Widger-Irving for the Tigers. Up to half forward, Melville. Evans was there, McLaughlin. Still McLaughlin, picked it up. Kicks towards half forward. Edge of the square, Will Farah. Tambling soccers off the ground. Picked up neatly there by Barry. Ridden into the ground, holding the footy. Could have been 1 of 3. Maybe play on might have been the fairest. Bowles was quick. Philo's back on Rick, and he takes it. Play on. Kicks out wide to Riley. Coming at him was Schofield. It's going to be a free kick. And it's going to come down from something that happened back at half back, I think.
I reckon Dean Staunton might have said, "Welcome back on the ground, Brody Philo." It was a downfield.
Kane Riley, left half forward. Kicks in towards the forward pocket. Butcher there, running back the fly. It was Dingo, McAdam. Wilson tried to tap it to advantage. Moo was good. Gave it to Butcher. Butcher's got another one. Oh, no, he's just missed. Hooked it a little bit too far for a behind only. Big John, he's got 2 for the night. Michael Bowden to bring the Crocs back into play. It's a 1-point lead to the Tigers. 13 minutes gone, second quarter, preliminary final. Innes, harassed, harried, tambling. Well done by Riley. Slapped it down. Melville, Danny Butcher, McAdam though stood in the way for the Crocs. Back to tambling. He's starting his hands on the football. To the wing. Spoiled away there by Butterick. Ed Barlow. Philo for Nightcliff. Throws the ball into the direction of Holt Fitz. Tried to step around Barry, who soccers off the ground. Michael Barlow, a rare fumble, only slight. Gave it back to Ogden. Handballs to his own advantage. Still going, Ogden held his ground. Still wants to go. He's got a teammate in support, Josiah Farah, but the turnover's on. Hands reached in. Came to Holt Fitz. On the bounce to a teammate there. Evans on the wing, but McAdam stands in the way. He soccers off the ground. It could go back the other way, but Ogden slips over. It's 60 metres away from the Crocs goal. Standing in the tackle, Barlow. Gives it back to Ogden. Could go back to McLaughlin. Instead tried to take them all on. Stepped around Brain. Ogden's beautiful pass to Michael Barlow. He plays on quickly, centering ball. Was that the right thing to do? Missed the target. O'Brien comes up with a footy, runs straight into Danny Butcher, taken to ground, holding the footy high, says the umpire.
Wow.
Free kick to Rory O'Brien, 40 metres out directly in front.
Some good efforts, I thought, saved goals. I thought Brain got his hand to a ball. They were away if it had gone over the top, and Nathan Brown as well. If that last kick into the forward line got over the top, they're away as well. But they still may score here through Rory O'Brien. 244 waffle games with Peel Thunder and East Fremantle. Won the Sandover medal in 2013. One of the most decorated players to ever play waffle footy. So he can kick a goal now for the Southern Districts Football Club.
Big game player, Rory O'Brien. No, he's got a behind, scores back level. 5-2, 32 apiece, 15 minutes gone, second quarter. So Paris hammers it out from fullback. Straight on the chest of Horbury, who bobbed up in the middle of the pack, 60 from goal. Oh, kick didn't have enough on it. Hagan stood in the way. And turnovers on. From right half back, Morris Rioli grandstand side. In the Melville direction, who did very well. 1 grab and then 2 against the much bigger Gallo. Showing his versatility, Trent Melville works his way to the wing. And hammers a 50-metre kick to 60 metres from goal. Ogden flew, Bowden, Sean Wilson trapped it. He's got Eilert for company. And the kick was smothered. It's still in. He tries to ride the Wurrung tackle. And the ball spills out of bounds.
Interesting to note with scores level at the moment, still plenty of footy to play. Should that happen at full time though, where scores are level at the completion of the fourth quarter, both teams have a 5-minute break in which their coaches can address them. Then the teams change ends and play 5 minutes.
5-2, 32 apiece, 16 minutes played, second quarter. Cheetahs.
It's never happened in the history of NTFL, so we may be looking at history, we'll see.
Tambling, Butcher ran straight at the man, no free kick, comes to Wilson, comes back to Danny Butcher. Danny Butcher is away to the right.
Outstanding umpiring. That wasn't a free kick. I reckon he put a bit of an Academy Award on that. Really well umpired.
Schofield breaks quickly from full back, and Ed Barlow's made space out at right half back. Stabs a pass on a bounce to Barry. Cleverly scooped it up on the slide and then turned and kicked towards half forward into the path of Horbury. Will it sit? He's 50 from goal. He's got Butterick for company. Very dour defender. Clever back through the legs into the path of O'Brien. Who's he got? Centering ball is good. Michael Barlow to carry all the way. It was touched on the line. Brilliant play by Brown.
Got that kick of Barry. He just put it into space and let the greasy ground just run onto O'Brien. It was a really smart kick.
Scores level again. 5-3, 33 apiece. Game of the year, I reckon, Rick.
I agree. I was just thinking this is unbelievable. Just the standard, very, very high.
Oh, Farah up against Brain. Out of bounds.
You don't get too many points. You do get a lot of poor games during an NTFL season. But come finals, most teams have got 22 very, very competent footballers, and the standard of football is usually very, very high.
Gallo and Drogamullah. Drogamullah won the tap. Michael Barlow sold Staunton into a bit of trouble. Back to Michael Barlow. Threw it on the boot quickly. Will bounce once and go out of bounds. 60 metres around from the Crocs goal. They've kicked 3 goals to 2 this quarter. They trail by 6 points at quarter time. It's 5-3 apiece. Saw a high-scoring game early in the year, Rick. Was at St Mary's and TIO, which you really liked.
Yeah, that was...
all the skills on show on a dry night, but this one, it's got all the toughness. 2 of the biggest body sides in the competition, and skillful.
More of a bruise-free game of footy. This is just tough and good skills under pressure.
Wills, Melville, awkward bounce.
I reckon the players are absolutely that spent. I reckon they're saying, let's just keep this on the boundary line and get our breath back for a little bit.
St Mary's thinking now, just keep bashing into each other, get yourselves as sore as possible.
I reckon Nightcliff need a game like this. I reckon Districts could do with a bruise-free game.
Wills just trying to lift his side.
Good umpiring again.
Back to Wills. Michael Barlow, the double fister. Kane Riley. Wills again back to Riley. Riley, spiral torp, gets 60 metres. Holt fits and Ogden. Holt fits, little jumper tug. Holt fits, taps to his advantage. Still in front, Holt fits. Ogden does brilliantly, comes up with a footy. Squeezes the kick out in the dingo direction. Gets it on the bounce. Coming hard at him was Melville and was taken high. And a free kick to Keegan Dingo. Good hard contest though.
I thought Ogden's was the most improved player in District's premiership year, and I think he's gone a bit quiet since then, but his game tonight is outstanding.
McAdam in front, from behind Philo, out of bounds.
This is the second time Keegan Dingo's hit the deck. He was down for about 30 seconds earlier in the quarter as well. Thankfully he was able to get up and in fact didn't even actually come off as well, so tough as nails.
Almost 20 minutes played second quarter. Lightning ripples across the sky on the outer side. Michael Barlow. Another possession. Must be up to 4,025, I reckon, Rick. In front, Butterick. Warung. Clever Warung. Yeah. Horbury off the ground. They've gained 35, 40 metres up towards the forward pocket. Neat step. Josiah Farah steps around Kane Riley. Kicks up towards full forward on the bounce. Well done by Nathan Brown. Lurking dangerously behind was Gala, but Brown made sure it didn't slip behind. It's out of bounds in the left forward pocket.
Outstanding, Nathan. That ball went behind him and it was Golski. Talking to Barlow, no one's had more possessions in their first ever game of AFL footy. He had 33 possessions in his first ever game, the highest ever. Averaged 25.2 possessions over his AFL career. So there's no issues finding a footy.
Yellow and black jumpers swarming around this footy. They don't want to concede a goal close to half-time. Handball over the top. Warung trying to bullock his way through. Brown's wrapped him up, though. Not going anywhere.
District's just got to send their wingers, I reckon, out of this contest. If they lose the contest, they can still score from it, I reckon. It's just
5-3 apiece. Here's Michael Barlow. Quick handball. Where's Ed Barlow? Warung. Handball to McAdam. Ducked his head. Stripped was the ball. She just comes up with it. And James Cheetahs kicks into the middle and finds the chest of Liam Holt-Fitz. Can go out wide to Winter Irving. Heads in that direction now. Well, the skill's not quite there. Winter Irving had plenty of time to mop it up.
I reckon Keegan Dingo saw. He just didn't corral or pressure that ball in.
Double fister by Horbury out of bounds and wins a free kick for a push up against Liam Evans. And Horbury's hurt his ankle, which would not be a good thing. Holding the back of his ankle, the Achilles area. It's being helped up now.
He can wait there, so that's a good sign.
Maybe it was just a boot run down the back of the leg. Couldn't afford to lose him. He's been terrific. Horbury from half back to the wing. Innes in front. Oh, over the shoulder maybe. Got hands to it. Drogomulla's quick kick. Evans, Bowden, Dingo scoops it. Ducked back to Bowden, was clever. Back to McLaughlin. They teamed well across half back, the Crocs. Up towards half forward. The hooking kick to Barlow was brilliantly done, but he dropped the mark. Morris did well just to worry him out of it. Cheetahs comes up with it, gives to Winter Irving. So a little turnover there, and Nightcliff can go forward once more. Coming into it's Hagan, Dingo in front. So I dropped the mark. Holt-Fitz from the pocket, misses. Most un-Liam Holt-Fitz-like. Normally nails those.
I was going to say, he doesn't usually let you off when you make a mistake.
It's a point the difference. Tigers lead. Holman to bring the ball back into play. Low kick is dangerous. Philo marks for the Tigers. He plays on, and Brain will take it at centre half forward, right on the dot of half time. 22 minutes played. Low scoring game. Brain might have the last piece of action for the quarter.
It should be a fair kick though, I reckon. I reckon that ball will be slippery and wet. Nightcliff just rung 4 changes.
That's big interchange there.
Brain, his father played over 100 games for the Nightcliff Football Club as well. So father-son situation here.
Zach Brain has hooked the kick plenty on it. Distance wasn't a problem, and he squeezes the Tigers' margin out to 2 points. 23 minutes gone, second quarter, 5-5 to 5-3.
Interesting with Zach Brain, when the point system come out, I thought they should have brought in a father-son. If your father's played 50 games at the club, you're a 0-pointer, and Nightcliff were one of the clubs that really didn't want it. And now they've got someone that could be a 0-pointer playing in their team at the moment.
Michael Bowden marks 40 metres out from the goal. He's defending at the airport end. Slowly working it out to Ed Barlow. Clark, Brain flew powerfully at the footy. Didn't take the mark, but first to it and then overruns it. McAdam, Michael Barlow, back to Jaden Clark as a free kick, a hold.
It actually was there. No.
It's got to come back to McAdam against Brain.
McAdam wanted to go and he couldn't go. He was being held. And I reckon if he was allowed to go, it was probably a professional free kick and good umpiring.
Half-time, just as McAdam got his kick away. A ripping game of football. The preliminary final of the 2019-20 TIO NTFL season. It's the Tigers, the reigning premiers, 5-5-35. The Crocs, 5-3-33.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
Absolutely zero.
Zero.
Yeah, definitely.
It has to be 0.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's asking too much.
kN centrifugal force, infrared remote control.
How does he do it?
24.5 kilowatt diesel motor.
He doesn't just know how to operate every piece of Kennard's high gear we get in, but also its service details, its safety checks. I don't know.
It's as if he can hypnotise each piece.
Give me 2 passes with sauce. Coffee white with 1, bun with icing. No, pink icing.
Yep, no worries, Terry.
Time to escape, 'cause I'm in need of warmer weather. Sail upon the stream to find there's someplace better. And I'm going far and wide. Ooh.
Great Northern Brewing Co., the beer from up here.
Looking for the best and brightest to join your team? At Quality People, we specialise in finding quality, hard-to-get professionals, and we have an office right here in Darwin. Kick your recruitment goals with Quality People. qualitypeople.com.au.
Now that's quality.
On Territory roads, anything can happen. So you need to drive to the conditions. Speeding can get you into all sorts of trouble. Dirt roads aren't just dusty. When it's hard to see, they're dangerous. At water crossings, remember, you're driving a motor car, not a boat. High water can be deep trouble.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet, and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
Choosing a health fund can be tricky. Some are too big, too small, or just not right at all. But with Territory Health Fund, you can make sure your cover is the right fit.
The NTFL clubs and umpires would like to share the following events and messages and thank their sponsors.
Getting my hands on the footy and just being with my mates.
I like being outdoors. It just makes me happy. I don't like it when I get yelled at.
It's pretty embarrassing when someone's shouting at you halfway through the game.
It makes me feel like I'm useless and I can't do anything.
We're just kids.
We're just here to have fun.
Let us do what we love.
Just let kids be kids.
For more information, please visit the relevant club or umpire's Facebook page.
All right, ladies and gents, that's a massive first half of footy here at TIO Stadium with the Tigers 5-5-35 to the Crocs 5-3-33. AFLNT and the Northern Territory Football League would like to take this time to thank their premier partners, TIO, the Northern Territory Government and the Australian Government. We'd also like to acknowledge our NTFL sponsors and partners, Statewide Super, Coca-Cola, Carlton United Breweries, Towards Zero, Impex, Power and Water, Kennards Hire, Flight Centre, Intersport, No More, Kazales, Sterling NT, Quality People, Bridge Toyota, Sharon, and a big thank you to our media and broadcast partners who help ensure that we can get these games live streamed across Facebook and YouTube. That's Mix and Hot 100, the team at 7 Darwin, NT News, Kick Digital and Aboriginal TV. All right, ladies and gents, we're only a few moments away from kicking off the third quarter of footy here at TIO Stadium. Can we please ensure that the field of play is cleared, ready to go for next quarter? Hey, Buff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the umpires, they're about to make their way back onto the field. Can we please ensure the field of play is now cleared as we resume the third quarter of footy? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's put your hands together for the Southern District's Crocs. And now a big round of applause for the Nightcliff Tigers.
Welcome back to TIO Stadium, where it's half-time and a very exciting game with Nightcliff 5-5-35, Southern Districts 5-3-33. Matt Hepworth, Ricky Nolan and Rob Cross in the commentary box this evening. And, well, gentlemen, what a fantastic first half of footy. Ricky, we might start with you.
Yeah, absolute ripper. I wouldn't say one side's played better than the other. I reckon they've both been terrific. The attack on the footy, second to none. Skill level in these conditions has been really, really good, and I just don't know what way it's going to go. I'm a bit worried. Districts just coming from fifth, some sore bodies. They do have some old, have a touch of an older list, especially with their classier players. Districts, Nightcliff had a week off, so I just don't know whether that will play a role at the end of the game. But yeah, it's been an absolutely outstanding game of football.
And just when you watch the benches, Rick, and the rotations, often the 3 or 4 players of Nightcliff are ready to come on constantly, whereas the Southern Districts players are often sitting on the bench, getting up.
Yeah. Even Philo, it doesn't I'd say, was not a high rotation player. We saw him rotate earlier and come on with a bit of zips. That wasn't a bad move. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting how it plays out. And you look at what Nightcliff played that kicked those 2 goals that were free Holt Fitz off the ground and Butcher out of the ruck. So they're just taking their opportunities there, Nightcliff. But yeah, Districts are playing good footy. It could go either way.
They're, of course, playing for a spot in next week's grand final with St Mary's through after beating Nightcliff last week. And what an upset that would be if Southern Districts got over the line tonight. Nightcliff have been pretty well unbeatable all year. And then to have 2 losses in the finals would be remarkable.
That's why I thought coming into the game, as well as Districts have been playing, you wouldn't think it could possibly happen that
yeah, I would be
Nightcliff
very
could
shocked.
go out in straight 6.
So while we wait here, Rick, we might Cheetahs coming off there for Nightcliff.
He's quiet. He's come up here with massive reputation. He's a bit like Garlett, but Garlett's really come well in the finals. So.
Just gets better each week that he plays.
Cheetahs just signed with Werribee. He's played He was captain of the Geelong Footy Club in the VFL, and will be lined up for Werribee next year.
Staunton still trying to get to Philo. Danny Butcher was trying to push him away. Butcher gets his first hands on the footy. Hagan comes off the wing and grabs it. Sends Nightcliff forward towards centre half forward. Melville, courageous fly there from Schofield. Warrung gives it back to Ogden. Clever play back to Warrung. Warrung to the wing and breaking out there and taking the mark is Clark. Stab over the top to Dylan Barry. A bit more out of him. Kicked a nice goal in the second quarter. Barely saw it in the first term. Tambling hasn't had the effect he's had in the first couple of finals, Rick.
Interesting, yeah, a bit sore, I reckon. Interesting move. Josiah Farrah's gone to full forward.
Kick turned over. Drogamula's had a good night.
That's when you're talking about sore. There's just no penetration there from Richie. I reckon you could have rested him for a week, brought him back fresh next week if they were to get through.
Drogamula's kick was good. Winter Irving marks on his chest. Wants Melville, but kicks it out of bounds on the full. Night of nights tomorrow night. Best and fairest in the league, Rick.
I reckon Brody Follow will win the Nichols medal. And I reckon Eliza Morrison will win the Gwen medal in the women's footy.
Brody Follow playing tonight. Wonderful one-hander taken there by Melville. He's working his way into this game and finds Wilson. 55 from goal. Wilson, little stab onto the chest of Moo. Plays on, Ryan Moo, kick to Eilert, and he marks in the right forward pocket, 15 metres out. Lovely switching transfer of the footy by the Tigers.
Yeah, good footy, hit their targets. Cameron should have no issues kicking this goal. See on the bench there, Jeff Harvey. If you tip that he's been a premiership assistant coach at St Mary's, premiership assistant coach at Nightcliff. If you tipping that he might be available for the Buffaloes, the vacant Buffaloes job during the week.
Some big names linked to the Buffaloes, no doubt about that, as Eilert from 15 metres has squeezed it through. First goal of the second half goes the Tigers' way. They lead by 8 points.
Perfect start. Really started well. Probably hasn't had the zip in it, has it, the first couple of minutes of after half time, but standing start.
Just a quick update from earlier today, gentlemen, in the Women's Premier League Grand Final. It was the Crocs winners 6-3-39, defeating Waratah 3-3-21. We've had a big weekend of Grand Finals here with a lot of the under 12s through to under 18s playing Grand Finals here at TIO Stadium today as well.
Big upset in the Div 1. Nightcliff have went straight through last week, and Banks, who hadn't lost a game all year, have gone out boom. Pints beat them today, so it'll be a Nightcliff v Pints in the Division 1 Grand Final.
Quickly onto that ball-up decision was Joel Morrison. Interesting again, Butcher once more. His sole intent is to keep Staunton away from Philo. He's come up the footy twice, the first two bounces. As Shepherd, it's going to go against... No, it's going to go to the Crocs.
I've enjoyed the umpiring, but I don't enjoy that. Just let the big boys go at it.
Gallo to Michael Barlow. Wastes no time. Pumps it long inside attacking 50. Brown and Garlett. Garlett slapped it onto the path of Will Farah. Nudged under the footy. Came to Josiah Farah. Wilson, bumped by the Farah boys. Comes to Ed Barlow. Got well intercepted there by Peris. Brown. Riley in there. Tight circles. Quick snap is good from Staunton. Waiting under the foot. He's buried. Oh, he just pulled out of it. He had the traffic coming hard at him. Oh, stripped of the footy. Well done by Horbury. Michael Barlow close to the boundary line. Josiah Farah still a chance. Michael Barlow dives on top. There'll be a ball up just a metre in from the boundary line. Right forward pocket for the Crocs.
I said earlier on, the big move, Josiah Farah going to full forward. I have seen it happen before. It happens very rarely, but I have seen it happen and I have seen it work. One of the favourites tomorrow for the Nichols medal, you would think.
And Michael Barlow can't keep it in. There'll be a boundary throw in now, almost the same spot, 30 metres around from goal.
Probably my other tip, I reckon he'll be leading up to Christmas, Josiah Farah. He just died off a little bit after Christmas.
There's a chance for the Crocs to get a goal back. They trail by 8 points. 4 minutes gone, third quarter preliminary final. Winner play St Mary's. Drogamula and Gallo. Garlett, one-hander, throws it on the boot cleverly. Ed Barlow pushes off his man and he can't quite get the chest mark. Ducking his head there was Wilson. Clark went hard after the footy. Snapped by Horbury. Great goal. Horbury's got two. And they're back within 2 points at the 4.5 minute mark of the third quarter, 6-5 to 6-3.
Goal for goal. Outstanding game of football. So, Nathan Horbury played for a couple of premierships with Redan in the Ballarat competition and now is currently coaching South Bendigo. But Really good at. I thought that there was going to be an absolute goal, and usually Barlow, when usually his strength, he usually swallows them. But just an opportunist goal here by Horbury, left footer, just put it through. He's had a big 4 weeks of footy. Josiah Farrow's gone now back into the midfield, with Ed Barlow's gone to full forward.
I won't go away, these Crocs. Philo broke from Staunton, who was quickly onto him and tackled him. So the kick went out sideways. Wilson with pace. Met with pace from Clark, though, who sees it out of bounds. Wilson wants to deliberate. I doubt he'll get it.
Bit of info I found out about Pat Gallo, the ruckman. He only started playing footy about 2 years ago. Played for Uni Rats 2 years ago and was absolutely hopeless. Could hardly kick a footy. Apparently he's an outstanding cricketer up here in the Territory and has just improved out of sight.
Butcher went without it. And Farah dives on the footy. It's camped on the top. The umpire's called holding the football. Jamison Galbraith. Cheetahs will get the free kick at right half back. Sends it into the centre, wanting winner Irving. Lake intercepted it. His handball was in turn intercepted by Brown, in turn intercepted by Gallo. Comes to Horbury. Back to Drogamulla. Kick to half forward. Luxor Fortune lands in the lap of Danny Butcher. Ogden gets there first. He's taken down in a tackle. Warung dives after the footy. There'll be a ball up, you would imagine, at right half forward. The umpire's letting it go.
Outstanding umpire.
Still going, says umpire Galbraith. In the end, he comes in to ball it up.
Oh, I love that. Just make him get the ball out. Apart from that ruck infringement, I'll give the umpires an 11 out of 10 tonight. I reckon they've been terrific.
Clever tap by Drogamulla, not 15.
Oh, wow.
Evans shrugs the tackle. First shot on goal from Evans for the night. He's away to the left for a behind. 3 points the difference. Nightcliff pressing. Crocs holding. Holman, Brain. Holman strong in the body, got rid of Brain. Staunton, still Staunton. Goes to ground, Gallo. Staunton again, flips one over the top. Tamling's got 3 to beat, bounce favoured Philo, sends it out wide to Eilert. 60 from goal, onto the left boot. On the bounce to Wilson. He's in the back pocket. Too strong, Butcher, and Big John's got his third. Pushed his opponent away as if he wasn't there, and Butcher extends the lead for the Tigers, 9 points.
So what happened there is Barlow, who does their fullback kickouts, got a bad match-up on Butcher because Holman was up the field. So, yeah, they're just a touch unlucky with a poor match-up there. You see here just the strength of Butcher. And they haven't got. Usually Holman would be on Butcher. Pushed him aside, pushed Barlow aside too easy. It will come down to who does the fullback kickouts.
So a handy little break now for the Tigers in a low-scoring game. 9 points. Rain is cleared. Check the radar to see if we're expecting more. Innes went up against Winter Irving. Off the ground, Wills. He's got an inside attacking 50. Ogden moves socket off the ground. Butcher again using that big frame in front. Comes to Wills, deserves a goal. He's had a terrific night. In front was Melville. Still Melville. Sockers off the ground. 2 in a minute.
Wow.
Here come the Tigers. They've got a 15-point buffer at the 8.5-minute mark of the third quarter. It's getting a little tougher for the Crocs.
Handy goal. Melville kept his feet. He's a strong bloke, Butcher, isn't he? He just kept him away from that footy and just got it forward. You can see here Melville kept his feet. I've kicked the goal.
It's his second. Just a little soccer on the left boot in the end. Jaden Clark on screens, had a good night. Having a rest. Innes wins the tap.
Need one Crocs, I think.
Cadden went to ground. Wills. Defensive side of the pack. Back to Winter Irving, who's been good. Just belts it inside 50. In front, Butcher again. Spoiled to ground. Neat sidestep by Hagan, who's very good football. Kicks to the square. Warung and Melville. Melville clever tap. Melville's still going. Melville's got a second in 30 seconds. 3 in 90 seconds. 2 to Melville in 30 seconds. And the Tigers are breaking this game open in the third quarter, the premiership quarter. 9.5 minutes gone. It's a 21-point lead to the Tigers.
A few warning bells at the moment. So just got to get the footy out of the middle. Nightcliff, Shannon Miller, the midfield coach for Nightcliff, would be very happy at the moment because they've got the last 3 centre breaks. Desperately need one here.
Fans starting to find their voice as well now.
Winter Irving up against Innes back in the middle. Up by Mark Noonan, throws it aloft. Innes left, wins the tap. Islets, McLaughlin tackles him. Brain goes backwards to Wills. Tambling, pushed off the footy by the bullocking Winter Irving. Well done by Barlow to Ed Barlow. He's got 3 Tigers around him. They're swarming all over them. Buderick dives and slides and picks up the footy, gives the handball out to Brain. Brain loops one over the top towards the wing and Bowles. Bowles inboard. Winter Irving on the bounce, traps it well for a big man. He ignored Wills. Now he goes to Wills. He's about to be run down. Stepped around Garlett, turned him inside out and kicks up towards centre half forward, but hits the chest of Ogden. Bit of relief for the Crocs. It's all Tigers early stages, second half. Brown flies hard at the footy and marks in front of Horbury. They flick gears, Nightcliff. They lead by 21 points after leading by just 2 points at half time. It's out to the wing.
Just not that contested game of footy that it was in the first half, is it?
Buderick kicks. Cheetahs marks. 60 from goal, right half forward. Cheetahs passes in towards the pocket. Spoiled away to the back of the pack. Holt Fitz, now Butcher. Taken down in a strong tackle. Holt Fitz, Sockers to his own advantage, still traps it. Holman comes, pulls him to the ground in a brutal tackle. Play on the call. Michael Barlow clears the danger area to the wing. Joel Buderick up against Horbury. Numbers with Nightcliff again. Brown, Horbury did well to stand his ground. Handball intercepted though. Brown fighting on at ground level, close to the boundary line. Paris wants it to be squeezed out. It won't be. We'll have a ball up. In front of the scoreboard on the outer side at TIO Stadium. Tigers lead 60-39 after they led 35-33 at half time. Melville and Butcher, big targets for the Tigers. Bowles' kick was smothered. McLaughlin quickly to Ed Barlow. Ed Barlow inside attacking 50. One-on-one battle. Garlett, Wills, Garlett in front. Look at Wills' pace, pushes him off the footy. Garlett goes to ground. Wills comes up with it. Garlett has another go. Josiah Farrer. Garlett back between his legs. Still Jeff Garlett taps to his advantage. Wills fighting on. He's got support. Comes back to Kane Riley. Kane Riley comes up with a football. Gives it off there to his teammate in Morris. He kicks up towards half-back. Moo off his shins. Still Moo. Ryan Moo steps around McAdam. Gets the handball away. Bowles buffeted off the footy by McLaughlin. Comes to Brain though. Advantage was paid. A high shot was in there. Comes to Brain and he runs into the middle. Spiral torpedo. Mark dropped. Holt Fitz clever. Step back through traffic. Onto his left boot. Wants full forward. Holman slaps it out in front. Couldn't take the mark. Picked up by Butcher. Big John Butcher. His kick doesn't hook enough and it goes out of bounds in the left forward pocket, aiming for his 4th.
Well, they did everything to mess that up, Nightcliff. They had a 2v1 and they ripped a Tory that just went to the opposition. They were lucky to still get away with that.
9-6 plays 6-3, 13 and a half minutes gone, third quarter. It's all Nightcliff. Crocs just hanging on. Whistle. And it's going to be a free, Nightcliff holding to the Tigers. Michael Barlow is the infringer. The recipient is going to be Butcher or Buderick.
I reckon Butcher in the ruck. I reckon it's a bit of a shallow throw-in. Bit of holding went on.
Well, we've seen him miss these.
Yeah, last week.
Plenty we saw of those last week.
Been okay on the snap tonight. Surely he won't miss this.
Having a very different game this week.
20 metres out. Confidence is high. John Butcher for goal number 4 for a 27-point lead. And Butcher squeezed it through. Butcher's got 4 goals. And you just sense at the 14-minute mark of the third quarter, the Tigers are on their way to another grand final. 10-6-66, the Crocs 6-3-39.
Yeah, I think they're nearly there. One more and I reckon she's game over. But I reckon it's extremely hard to come from 5th. Very rarely happens. And I think they're just a little bit sore, Southern Districts Footy Club. throwing the magnets around. Keegan Dingo, who I reckon coming to the game sore. There's a few things. Usually his attack on the footy is unbelievable. He just held back a few times. So I got a feeling he might be carrying an injury. I think there's a few Crocs that are a little bit sore. Richard Tambling as well.
McAdam as well, holding his back as he went to the bench at the start of this quarter. He's still on the bench. Ed Barlow's in the middle. Michael Barlow in front, spoiled away by Kane Riley. Michael Barlow goes to ground. Philo, O'Brien, Drogamulla. The bump. He's got support. Butterick intercepted by Ed Barlow. Went up one hand. Was it touched?
I thought he marked it.
He did too. He wanted to play on pretty quickly though. O'Brien back to Ed Barlow. Hagan's tackle stuck long enough for support to come. Now Barlow might get one for high. He's up against Butterick.
50. Good decision, Mark Noonan.
Wow.
Silly by Hagan. They're in a grand... Right now, they're in a grand final. You don't want to turn the game around or give Southern Districts an edge.
Ed Barlow kicked 7 last week. He's been brought to 30 from goal, 45-degree angle. Airport end of TIO Stadium.
Just brings them back to within 3 if he kicks this.
16 minutes gone, third quarter. If he misses, the Nightcliff fans will let him know about it. They've found voice, the Tigers fans. They were worried early. Beaten by St Mary's in the second semi, struggling in the first half. Barlow, experienced, drills it, waves to the fans. Crocs stay alive, 16 minutes, third quarter, 7-3, 45 to 10-6, 66.
As Michael Hagan makes his way to the bench, and I would say he will get an absolute ear ribbing from the coach. You would hope the coach would do it. But it brings Districts back into the game. Now, Nightcliff, 2 minutes ago, were in a grand final. They're now not quite there, I reckon. You don't want to give Ed Barlow, who's as good as anyone in this competition, a yard. Yeah, they've moved the magnets around. Barlow gone into the middle. Keegan Dingo has gone to full forward, which you never see.
McAdam back on the wing on the outer side for Southern Districts. Do or die. Loses out of season 2019-20. Gallo. Cheetah lays a tackle. Staunton strong. As far as Drogamulla, Wilson. Tigers go forward quickly. Wanting Butcher. Long on the kick. Too long. Out of bounds. 35 metres around in the left forward pocket. Michael Long, learning centre end of TIO Stadium. 66 plays 45. 17 and a half minutes gone, third quarter. Will Butcher do the ruck work? He will, up against Gallo.
I reckon Nightcliff are down a rotation. I reckon that's Kickett in his civilian gear down there on the bench. So when you're in your civilian gear, it usually means it's you're certainly gone for tonight and you may not get up next week.
Yeah, only 3 down there on the Nightcliff bench. Crocs take advantage of that. They've got some sore bodies as well. Ogden sends it to the outer side. Hard running from Schofield. Ex-AFL player into the path of Michael Barlow. Another ex-AFL player for the Crocs. He turns and kicks to Horbury and takes a lovely mark. Did he hold it long enough? The umpire paid it? No, out of bounds. Gain 90 metres at least.
Vital. Districts kick a goal here.
They're having a chat about it though.
While they're discussing it, Nightcliff, he's paid the mark. Now Nightcliff are able to set up behind the play though.
So Horbury off the side of the boot. Clever kick. Will Farrer comes out, brings the ball to ground. Cleared by Nathan Brown outside defensive 50. McAdam gets to the contest up against Wilson. Scooped up by Evans. Josiah Farrer needs to lift. Riley for Nightcliff. Long kick. Ogden running back with a flight, though, takes the mark at left half back.
He's been outstanding tonight.
So just steadying a little bit Southern District. So they've got a couple of goals in them to three-quarter time. Out came Tambling up against Drogamulla. Lake. His kick up towards half forward. Will Farrer in front. Ran under the footy. Beautiful pick up there by Bowles. Ed Barlow, big hit from Winter Irving. Lake ran straight into Holt Fitz. And Liam Holt Fitz takes Brodie Lake over the boundary line for a throw-in.
We'll talk about those changes, Ben. You see on screen there, Nightcliff for 4 for 4. They've rotated, I reckon, really well and a touch better than Districts. So I reckon there's some legs in the last quarter.
Barlow hands on knees. Whistle's gone. Some holding going on. It's going to be a free kick to Southern Districts. Staunton. Then against Butcher. So Staunton.
Brody Fowler's got a man the mark.
Will Farah. Oh, Brain courageously back with a flight, takes the mark. He's a tough player, isn't he? Love the way Zach Brain goes about it.
I've actually noticed him more tonight with that sort of stuff than I have before, Rob.
Kicks to the wing. Melville. Winter Irving was wrestling with Gallo. And Trent Melville came in and took the mark. Goes the torpedo, makes pretty good contact. 60 metres to half forward. Spoil came from Schofield towards the boundary line. Happy to see it out. 20.5 minutes gone, third quarter. They certainly wouldn't want to concede the Crocs. If they can squeeze one, maybe two out in a couple of minutes remaining, it would be ideal. They trail by 21 points. It's rained on and off through the first half. Still slippery conditions. And you would think the legs are with Nightcliff. Probably the fittest team anyway. In fact, they had the week off early in the finals campaign. Wills has been terrific all night. Didn't get boot to ball. Garlett, Danny Butcher. Hagen. Still Hagen, about to be run down. Shrug the tackle, still got it. Hagen, beat two, kicks long. Butcher in the goal square. Butcher in the goal square. Shepherds it through. Hagen's got it from 50 after spinning out of two tackles. That could be the ball game. Close to three-quarter time. Hagen gets the Tigers 11th and they lead by 27 points.
Not a great moment then. They could have put him in a very bad way. Dropping the ball, turnover and scored it the other way. Missed tackle and they score from it. So just needed to be better there. Missed one, missed two.
And then to hold his ground as well. That was amazing.
Yeah, Oliver go at the tacklers. I don't think they just should have made that tackle.
Yeah. And you've got two chances to do it as well.
In finals footy, you've got to make that tackle.
Yeah.
Innes about to come back on for Southern Districts. Gallo in the ruck up against Winter Irving. Winter Irving's had a good night. Michael Barlow's tried hard, the ex-AFL player. Squeezes a handball along the ground through Eilers' legs. McLaughlin goes off the ground. Butterick chasing hard. McLaughlin. Josiah Farrell, wonderful one-handed pickup. Doesn't make much with the kick. Gains about 20 metres off the ground. Goes bowls.
Deliberate.
And the umpire says no. Mark Noonan, boundary throwing. 22.5 gone, third quarter. Big lead for Nightcliff. They've kicked 6 goals to 2.
That last minute, it was so crucial for Districts. It's
almost a 2-goal swing.
Oh, mate, they just needed to make that play.
Gallo wins the tap. McLaughlin tried to soccer it out of midair. Ed Barlow along the ground. Josiah Farah, another neat pick up to Ed Barlow. Riley coming at him, can't quite get boot to ball. Riley and as far as Josiah Farah, hooking ball to Dingo, second grab, not taken. Garlett, Brain sockers it off the ground. Charlie McAdam, 2 hard heads. Brain's got the pace and gets there first. McAdam still trying to run him down, close to the boundary line. Brain sockers it back inboard, maybe should have found the boundary line, still a chance the Crocs. Garlett comes up with it onto the chest. In front was Dingo, pushed off the footy. Good defence came from Roger Morris. Ed Barlow, Wilson, back to Bowl, steps around Garlett to left half back. Will centre the ball to Winter Irving, and Nightcliff are away. Winter Irving off to Paris. Winter Irving goes down behind play, not a problem. Wills has got it. They've switched it to the outer side. Phil Wills up towards half forward. They could get another goal here, Nightcliff. Up to Evans. He's 60 from goal at right half forward. Evans kicks in towards the pocket. Where's the tall timber? 2-on-1 battle up against Butcher. Spills there to move. Sockers to his own advantage. Danny Butcher. Still Danny Butcher. Butcher gives to Hagen. Has Hagen got 2 in 2 minutes? Michael Hagen snaps on goal. Michael Hagen seals the preliminary final before three-quarter time. Surely the Crocs can't come back. End-to-end footy. Nightcliff now lead by 33. 12-6, 78 to the Crocs. 7-3, 45.
Yeah, I agree with you. Game over. Yeah, absolute miracle to win from here. It's just so hard from 5th place. It's so important to finish top 3, I reckon. You can have a bad quarter, you get a second chance, you can rest players. If you're in good form, you get a week off. And just coming from 5th just makes it too hard. And I think Nightcliff are into a grand final for the 2nd year in a row, even though there's another 30 minutes to play.
Be a wonderful comeback if they could find it, but this quarter it's been 7 goals to 2. They flick the switch. Most of us thought they had an extra gear on every other team this year. St Mary's might have a big say in that. They will have a big say on it next week. Should be a ripping grand final. Sad to say, some incredible miracle. Horbury, even with a quarter to go, Nightcliff can maybe just play out time. Won't be long to go in this quarter. 25 minutes gone, despite the fact 7 goals have been kicked by Nightcliff. Innes. McLaughlin. And it's going to be a ball up right on 50 for the Crocs. Lost just 2 games all year, Nightcliff, both to St Mary's, home and away, and then last week in the second semi. Wills, just about BOG, I reckon, Rick.
He's been good. Everything there too, and I don't throw the word champion around roughly, but they're 2 champions in Eilert and Wills have really stood up.
Kick came in from Innes to half forward, but that's it. Third quarter is done and dusted. It's been all Nightcliff. The reigning premiers kicked 7 goals to 2, and at 3/4 time in the preliminary final, lead the Crocs by 33 points.
You are one of almost 140,000 people living in an area at risk of being affected by a cyclone this wet season. In your cyclone kit, you will need a battery-operated radio and torch with spare batteries, enough food and at least 10 litres of water per person to sustain you and your family for 72 hours or more. Remember, all important documentation such as passports, photos and insurance policies should be kept in a safe and waterproof place. Be prepared this wet season. Brought to you by TIO.
So we can feel forever, yeah, feel together, real together. No one can stop. No one can stop. Nothing could ever bring me down.
We've always done it tough in the Territory, because tough always has to be done. And where the needs of many sometimes require the actions of one. As we head into the storm season, Power and Water is committed to doing what needs to be done, building and maintaining the engine room of the Territory, investing in our communities, and always focused on one thing: protecting what's truly precious. To protect your loved ones this storm season, visit powerwater.com.au/prepare for tips and fact sheets.
CFS Schoolwear is the perfect choice for quality custom-made school uniforms. Ideal clothing for all school-related activities, whether it's 50 or 500 students, we have what you need. Contact the Cricket and Football Shop NT for your free CFS Schoolwear quote today.
Let's see. Roma, Verona?
Perhaps Barcelona.
Make your dream holiday a reality. Book your next getaway at Flight Centre with interest-free holidays and flexible repayment options.
Best in the air.
And everywhere.
Flight Centre.
Intersport, new concept store now open in Casuarina Square. Come in and check out a world-class shopping experience.
Dedicated sports zones.
Now stocking only the biggest brands in tennis, cricket, fitness from treadmills to benches, boxing, swimming, darts, pool and table tennis. For awesome service and advice,
come and see it.
Still locally owned and operated, the all-new Intersport concept store.
Now open at Casuarina Square.
We're here for when the heavens open and the winds howl. We're here for when the water just won't stop. We're here for the wet and we're here for the dry. We're here because we know there's nowhere else you'd rather be.
And there's nowhere else we'd rather be either. TIO Home Insurance. We're for Territorians.
All right, ladies and gents, we're just a few moments away from entering the fourth quarter of footy here at TIO Stadium with Tigers 12-6, 78 to Crocs 7-3, 45. Tigers managing to sneak a few extra goals in that quarter. Is this league going to be able to keep them for the rest of this game and sneak them into the finals? We'll find out. Had a bank card handed in here for Mrs. Hannah O'Leary. If you'd like to visit the guys at the umpires race, let us know. I'll say that again. We found a bank card for Mrs. Hannah O'Leary if you'd like to see us at the umpires race here.
Three-quarter time here at TIO Stadium in the preliminary final, and Nightcliff are almost through to another grand final, 2 in 2 years, likely to play St Mary's next week. But we've still got a quarter of footy to go with Nightcliff 12-6, 78, Southern Districts 7-3, 45. And Ricky, you'd just about say that Nightcliff are there.
Yep. If I was Anthony Vallejo, I would start planning now for the Nightcliff footy club. I can't see Southern Districts getting up from here. I predict I reckon it might blow out a little bit in this last quarter.
They already look like they're starting to make some preparations next week, Rick. Phil Wills has come off, going to get some work on his legs.
Wow, yeah.
There's Nightcliff. Horbury soccers off the ground to the square. Will Farah, still Will Farah. Goal early might make things a little bit interesting. Mr. Wilson, though. Red, white and black jumpers pouring after him. McAdam. A little bit of a fumble, still McAdam. Had time to gather. Kicks in towards the left forward pocket. Will Farah. Dylan Barry hasn't had the game he had of a couple of weeks ago. Philo needs to play on. Steps around McLaughlin, who did a pretty good job of corralling him. Into the middle. Warung. Still Warung. He just belts it to the top of the goal square. Numbers there. Well, Tigers defenders might have got in each other's way. Brown there with Drogamulla. And there's going to be a ball up 30 out from goal directly in front. Crocs into attack.
I reckon Districts 11, 5-minute absolute crack. And I just reckon it might open up a little bit.
Ed Barlow out of the ruck. Ed Barlow! Ball was stripped from him and is pinged for holding the football. He tried to lift his side, and Joel Butterick comes up with a free kick at the top of the square. He's defending. Michael Long learning centre end.
Just don't need to do anything stupid. Nightcliff.
Butterick, almost the wing. Warung's had a couple of touches early in this last quarter. Kane Riley, solid on his chest between fullback and centre half back. So they're holding the early burst from Southern District so far. A long way to come back. Crocs trail by 33 points. Islets, Schofield, both go to ground and out of bounds. So what changes does St Mary's make, if any? Rick?
Players that are available, who are good players, are Rhett Jordan and Jared Waite, can come back into the side. And but that means they've got point system issues, so to bring them in, they're 6 points, so they have to get rid of 6.
Let's
keep going, I'll come back to it.
Brain up against Clark. Some holding going on. Free kick advantage paid. Wilson sends them forward again. Lake back with the flight. Holman over the top towards the boundary line. Right back pocket.
Yeah, so if they play Rhett Jordan and Jared Waite, that means Josh Salmon, Liam Daly or Dylan Johnson have to go out. And so Liam Daly did a terrific job tagging Folo last week, so there is some headaches there.
Gallo. Schofield to Michael Barlow's been terrific. Out to the wing, Clark and Brain. One-on-one contest. Clark was quick. Got around Brain. Brain won't give up. Clark soccers off the ground. Gains another 30 metres. Out towards right half forward. And the Crocs are into attack, but 65 from goal.
St Mary's have beaten Nightcliff twice this year without Jared Waite, so a touch of talk of that around town. But
played deliberate.
If it was me, I think you've got to play Jared Waite next week.
Over the shoulder of McLaughlin. Slow to pick himself up. I think so, just what he offers and what he's the potential.
Yeah, and then Calder gets the second best defender.
Kick comes in towards half forward Horbury. Still Horbury. Did very well to beat two Tigers. Curls the kick around the corner. Josiah Farah. His right boot. Gained 2 metres. Kane Riley sends it back out of defensive 50 to the wing. Good nudge there by Warung to Ed Barlow. And straight down the throat of Sean Wilson, who's been reliable as ever inside defensive 50 at the Michael Long centre end. Early stages, final quarter. No score yet in the term. Crocs need to pour it on, but they're being held by Nightcliff. Just need to play smart footy. Pretty much the whole body is through the door into a grand final. And just about close the door. It's creaking. Just about to turn the handle. Lovely pass from Paris to the chest of Cheetahs. Some big ins today for Nightcliff. In came Holt Fitz, in came Nathan Brown, in came Ryan Moo. Evans hasn't done so much. You'd imagine Sharp will be straight in for Evans next week.
Yeah, I think he was playing for his spot, Evans.
Here he is.
Looking at their sheet, they've got no issues with point systems, but I would say that's more a fly-in, one flying in for one flying out if they bring Sharp back in. But yeah, Evans hasn't done a real lot, so I wouldn't be sleeping too well until Thursday night.
It's a lovely pass then, though, into the chest of Holt Fitz, who's lining up for his second goal of the night. His first was an unbelievable soccer off the ground from 30 metres on the run. At this end, Liam Holt Fitz, the reigning Cheney medalist, loves big games. Silky skilled. On the run, set shot. Liam Holt Fitz for the first score of the final quarter. Built him up. And yet again, commentators curse strikes. Ogden tears away from the left back pocket. The low kick to Dylan Barry. McAdam intercepted by Evans. He wants his spot. Oh, great mark by Hagan. Was it Holt Fitz again? It is Holt Fitz.
This is probably the main man I think St Mary's need to stop next week. Him and Folo are the two that I'd be putting the most work into. St Mary's got a guy called Tyler Saunders, I reckon, being the best defender for the last month. Shut down Austin Wanamari twice in finals. He's in exceptional form. There's one that could go to him. Jake Long is another. So St Mary's do have options.
Jacob Long.
With this.
Yeah.
Jacob Long, another. They've got options with him. You could maybe move it around a bit as well.
Holt Fitz would have hated his last attempt. Similar spot. And a little better, but a behind only. If he gets another shot shortly,
I was
he'll
going to say,
work it out.
Next one should be perfect.
Schofield. Otherwise, the first score. In fact, they've gone back the main scoreboard. Maybe the Crocs are a chance. It's 5 points to nothing, apparently. Holman. Last score wins. Holman is tied up in a tackle.
That's the way we do it in the backyard.
Hagan. Mark Noonan throws it up. Gallo against Winter Irving. Wills is back on the ground. Just had a bit of a calf rub. Hagan clever. Running back with the flight was Schofield. Chasing it back. Melville laid the tackle. Warung. Holman back to Warung. Back to Holman. Eilert comes hard. Wills chases hard as well. Ogden's kick. Well done by Wills. Forced the turnover. And Brain Marks gets around O'Brien, runs to 50, runs to 55 even, kicks long, Butcher comes out, runs under the footy. And then Hagan sees it out of bounds in the right forward pocket.
This game, Brains played for the year. Rob, do you think? It's nearly best on ground.
Yeah, I've seen him play a couple of good ones. But no, I think this will be close. Certainly been courageous, hard at the contest. Butcher up against Gallo. Strong tackling as the game winds down in this last quarter. 8 minutes played. 79 plays 45. It's just 2 points in it at half-time. But a 7-goal to 2 third quarter by Nightcliff. It's all but seen them into a grand final. Second in a row. Hard tackling continues though. Crocs won't continue exactly give it away. Last one up was Eilert, who started off the game in devastating fashion. Brain. Quick kick on the bounce. Holt Fitz taken down by Ogden. Soccer off the ground there, still Holt Fitz. Bowden squeezes a kick back to Winter Irving. Clark, Ed Barlow, Garlett back to Clark. Wills gets a Shepherd, has time, kicks in the Melville direction, got his way to the front, shrug the tackle, throw. Evans snaps the goal. Well, he might have missed in the end, but it doesn't matter. It was a throw. Reasonably well umpired, I reckon.
Ricky, I believe you've got an update on Jack Geary.
Yeah, so I spoke to him this morning, probably more than unlikely not to play. I reckon I'll give him every chance. I was thinking he's played 50 games. He doesn't get paid, so St Mary's don't pay him. He drives down from Bendigo and then he's got to pay for his own airport parking. So he's $200 out of pocket, 50 games. There's 10 grand he's put towards the club. So
Wow.
I reckon they'll give him every chance to play, but I don't think he'll get up.
Garlett ran into the big body of Winter Irving. Stood his ground. Holman socket off the ground. Wills burrows after another footy. Hagan had 2 to beat. Smashed away by Bowden. Only as far as Winter Irving to Wilson. Wilson centering ball is wonderful to Brown. Oh, great mark. Running
So good.
full tilt with a flight. There's a wonderful centering ball by Wilson. Brown made it his own. And Nathan Brown will line up directly in front from 35.
His first goal for the year, maybe. Jeff Harvey, assistant coach. Premiership assistant coaches at St Mary's and Nightcliff. So I reckon he'll be in the radar, Jeff. I know his wife Tanya's very supportive of him coaching senior football, so I reckon he'll be in the radar of a few of those vacancies.
Nathan Brown for the first goal for either side of the final quarter. For a 40-point lead to Nightcliff. Just off a step, and he's hooked the kicker behind only. So still goalless.
Ricky, what does next week look like for a lot of these players? I mean, a lot of them obviously still have full-time jobs. Speaking of Nightcliff and St Mary's, it's a big week for them.
Yeah, biggest week.
Biggest week of the
week
year.
here live,
Yep.
I reckon.
Yep.
You just
Yep.
live for footy, and all these. It'd mean the world to every one of these players.
Philo, he loves these. From 50 on the run. Unusually doesn't make the distance, and Bowden marks on the last line of defence. Sorry, Rick.
Especially, I reckon, Nightcliff and Saints. And Nightcliff have got no AFL players, so it's not they haven't played at the highest level. So it means everything to them. And the AFL players that St Mary's have had, most of them have come through their juniors. So people like Jake Long and that, of course, that's their dream to play in a premiership with St Mary's Footy Club. So, yeah, those 44 players will mean the world to them.
Yeah.
Melville intercepts the Wayward run. Handball run comes in and tries to fix up his little error. As the whistle's gone and it's a little overly zealous in the tackling there. So Ogden has it now for Southern Districts. He flares it out to Brodie Lake, running with the flight. Coming the other way was Wilson. Lake or the Shepherd from Clark. Lake comes up with a footy. Low kick. Dingo comes out from full forward. McLaughlin to lend assistance. Dingo taken to ground. Kane Riley slaps it back between his legs. Was maybe a little bit too cute. Staunton waits under the footy. Takes the mark. Oh, he's got players central. Goes to Barlow. Barlow gets it. Despite the player bowls clattering into him, Barlow held his ground. And Ed, who kicked 7 last week, lining up for his second tonight.
Even thinking a player like Jared Waite, never played in a premiership, so I reckon he wouldn't get too many more chances at his age. So even it'd be a big event for him as well.
From directly in front, Ed Barlow to bring the margin back to 29 points. Does bring it back to 29 with his second goal. 12 minutes gone, final quarter. 80 plays 51.
Been serviceable again, not quite as good as last week, but not too many players have played as well as what he has last week. He was outstanding. So.
Later this week, gentlemen, later this month, we're expecting AFLNT to release a scoping study into the chance of the Northern Territory having an AFL team. Ricky, what do you think is going to be in this report?
Yeah, I know. I just worry. Look, you look at these power clubs, they're now getting 100,000 members. We don't even have a population of 100,000 people. Like, so I don't know how it can work because we just don't have the population here. So we're struggling financially up here, in a bit of a hole, and they're just clubs like Richmond and Collingwood. They're just financial powerhouses. How are we going to survive against those sort of organisations?
Just as the Crocs threatened to maybe get another goal quickly, Moo laid a very good tackle on Clark and came up with a footy. Innes should be too big and strong for Wilson, who's coming at Tambling hard. Tambling's kick's going to turn it over straight down Moo's throat. Ryan Moo didn't waste too much time. He wanted Cheetahs. Got done by Innes to McLaughlin. Cheetahs. McLaughlin knocks him down. Moo fights on hard. Still Ryan Moo. Philo plays for a free kick. Innes taken to ground. Good umpiring, letting it go. Philo was good. Back to Cheetahs. He's kicked to Winter Irving in front. Spoiled away by Bowden. Coming hard there was Ogden. Winter Irving did well.
I would look at something, Rob, like the Michael Long Centre for an example, like a magnificent building. But recently I went and watched the Adelaide Crows women's train. The Michael Long Centre's a baby compared to the Crows. Then I read during the week the Crows are wanting to build to go to something bigger. Like it's just, it should be a huge effort for us to get an AFL side, I think.
Cheetah sends it towards Butcher. Butcher and Holman wrestle. Soccer off the ground. Across the face and through for a behind.
The only promising part that I think it's going to look at 3 areas you've touched on too, Ricky, is finance, facilities. Talent, though. The Northern Territory not short of AFL talent.
Yeah, it would have lacked a bit in draft lately, but yeah, there's still plenty of Territorians running around in there.
Ogden trying very hard still to lift his side. Cheetahs. O'Brien marks. They've got no time to waste, so he plays on straight away. Kicks to Josiah Farah. Still Josiah Farah. Tap to his own advantage. Morris right there with him. Josiah Farah's got a little nudge from Morris, and it goes out of bounds. Farah wants a free kick. He won't get it.
Brody Philo on the bench. I'm just wondering if you leave him there. Look at bringing Cameron Eilert off. Although I tried to do that a few times when I was coaching him, he refused to come off. Now, some of their older players, Butcher's been pretty good. Do you look at rotating your better players off?
Drogamula, Tambling. Gallo gets a little kick that's smothered. Michael Barlow taken down in a strong tackle. Bowles, quick kick. Wills. Eilert over Danny Butcher's head. Runs straight into O'Brien, who stood his ground and wins a free kick for a high hit. Courage by both players. O'Brien comes up with a free. He's called to play on. Kicks to centre half forward. Look at the numbers for the Tigers. Nathan Brown comes in and takes a strong mark.
A bit of confidence, Nathan. I reckon that mark at the end there and that one there, just give him a bit of confidence going into next week's game, having missed a few weeks.
Pumps it long to the Morris Rioli grandstand wing. Melville to the back to Danny Butcher. Bowden sees it out of bounds. A little hand reaching around the corner. (12-9) to 8-3. It's a 28-point, I should say a 30-point lead to the Tigers. Gallo in front. Brain. Hagan marks in front of Lake. Wheels around and plays on. And finds the chest with a wonky kick of Liam Evans. Evans doesn't mind his chances from 55.
Back yourself.
He's from Nathalia, in the Murray Footy League, and kicked 60 odd goals there last year.
And he's not kicking a goal tonight. It's out on the bounce. Not yet anyway. Out of bounds on the full. 17 minutes gone, 30-point lead to Tigers.
67 he kicked with Nathalia, and they've won the last 3 flags in the Murray League.
Ogden over the top to Michael Barlow. Long handball on the bounce to Charlie McAdam. Right half back. 50 minutes out from the goal he's defending. Wanting O'Brien. He's in front spot. Held his ground. Still O'Brien. Back to Ogden. Best for Southern District tonight. To Staunton. He went without it. Will Farah out of bounds with Philo. Kyle Winter-Irving's had a good night on the bench there. And Drogamula have done well in the ruck. Hard to see John O'Miles getting back into the grand final, Rick. I think they stick with these two.
He's in probably in a bit of touch of strife because winning form's hard to change when they won the game, isn't it? Worst thing with that, Nightcliff's Div 1, or their seconds, or whatever you want to call them, they didn't play this week. They went straight through to granny. So you can't go back and prove yourself because the Nightcliff Div 1 didn't play this week.
Paulbury kicks it straight back to Drogamula at left half back for the Tigers. So the clock winding down to end this preliminary final. It was a thrilling first half. The reigning premiers Nightcliff 7-2 third quarter and smashed it wide open. And in the final quarter, it's 1 goal to Southern Districts. Got a 30-point lead. 60 out from the Tigers' goal. Gallo, Drugamula. Drugamula dives after it. Ogden over the top of him. Philo clever, squeezed a little kick out. Melville tried to send it forward. Still Melville, little toe. Hagen back to Melville. Melville off the side there. McAdam. Schofield. Riley, first grab, not the second. Josiah Farah comes in. Brain tried to knock it forward for his teammate. Gallo gets it off to O'Brien. O'Brien out to the wing. Bad turnover, that straight down the throat of Daniel Bowles, who slipped up from half back. Bowles trying to direct traffic. Michael Barlow stands the mark. Pumps it long. Wilson spoiled away by Bowden. Horbury. Wilson knocked him off the footy. Clever little one-hander. Holt Fitz.
Yep.
Holt Fitz is kicking the Melville direction. Worked his way to the front. One grab, not the second. Warung was strong in the contest. And it's through for behind.
Southern Districts can take some comfort knowing that their women's Premier League team got up today, 6-3-39 in the grand final, up against Tars, 3-3-21.
Warung brings it to the grandstand side. Holman's got 3 to beat. He's made a pretty good fist of it. Clark came in to lend assistance. Drogamula, though, rode the bump of Clark and wins a free kick. Drogamula's had a big game, I reckon, Rick.
Yeah, as I said, I reckon there would have been a call into the coach's room, and you've got in by the skin of your teeth over John O'Miles, so you needed a big one. Oh, is that out?
I thought so.
No, Andrew Umpire's right there. Moo took the mark right on the line. Warung and Melville takes a strong grab. He's kicked 3 tonight. And he might finish the preliminary final with a 4th. He's kicked 46 for the season. The Tigers are into their 2nd grand final in a row. Valiant effort by the Crocs, who trailed by just 2 points at half-time. Since then, it's been all Nightcliff. Hugs and high fives across the ground as Trent Melville lines up for his 4th goal. Will be a fitting way to end the game. He's got it! Melville's got 4 with a ripper from the boundary line. And the Tigers extend their winning margin to 37 points, 13-10-88. The Crocs 8-3-51. And they go into next week's grand final against St Mary's, Rick, in pretty good form.
Next week they're going for the ultimate in Northern Territory sport. So, yeah, big week for the 44 players, and I think we're in for an absolute cracker.
Certainly will be full-time here at TIO Stadium in the prelim final, and Nightcliff are off to the grand final, 13-10-88. Southern Districts 8-3-51. You've been watching Aboriginal TV's coverage of the 2019-2020 TIO NTFL season. We'll see you next week for the big dance.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, well, that is it. The stage is set for next weekend's 2019 TIO NTFL Women's Premier League Grand Final between St Mary's and the Nightcliff Tigers Football Club.